I'm Denise.
And I'm Simone.
We're from Vertical Coffee Roasters in Zurich, Switzerland. And this is the first Meet the Roaster round at Home Cafe in Berlin. Okay, so we have a little Q&A. And maybe to kick off the questions, we already have some. So I'll read the first question.
Okay,
Simone can answer it. So it's... why is it that coffees taste great during cupping, but they give more average brewing results when you brew it in a normal brewing methods? And why isn't it the other way around?
Yes, that's a good question. Sometimes it's a mystery for us as well. I think it's mainly because when you look at the cupping, it's a full immersion brewing method. So you get a lot of body and lots of intensity in the cup, which is...
Maybe quickly, what's the difference between full immersion and drip?
Yes, like full immersion means you have all the ground coffee beans with the water at all the time. And then drip means you just pour the water and simultaneously it drips. So you have less contact time usually. Mm-hmm. So what I find are the brewing methods I like the most, or I think the closest to the cupping result is either like a French press or AeroPress if you do the inverted method, or then also a clever dripper. So maybe try that and see if you get the same result as on the cupping table. Yeah. Okay. So then the next question for you is anything in particular you work on at the moment?
Okay, so we have a project which I've had in mind for a few years, and I kind of had to convince Simone internally to follow this idea, and it's the R word. It's the Robusta. And a few years ago at the World of Coffee, I did a specialty Robusta cupping with one of the green coffee importers, and they also have their own coffee farms. And I was really, really, really amazed how this coffee tasted. Even when they were cold, they had nothing of the Robusta flavors which you will find not so nice. So nothing like medicinal, nothing rubbery. You just have a lower acidity, but they're full-bodied and have really... Some are even quite floral, you would say. But I was really, really surprised how Robusta could taste. Mainly because they were taken better care of and the processing was done very clean. So no external factors or external odors coming onto the coffee. And after we roasted some Robusta, also specialty Robusta for last year's Swiss cup tasting competition, I finally convinced Simone that we will tackle this task. And so we will be getting some specialty Robusta from Uganda next week, actually, and we'll be roasting it. It's maybe a bold move within the specialty coffee community because it's the R word and no one will want to talk about it. Yeah. But on one side, for people getting into specialty coffee, it can be like a bridge to have the gap a bit smaller, because we want to grow the specialty community and grow the people appreciating really nice, clean coffees. And this is one way, because they maybe are not used to too much acidity, so they can like take baby steps. And on the other hand, if we look at climate change and global warming, Robusta will eventually be something which we will have to think about. And like the only way to kind of have a better Robusta is to like do a really clean processing. And in order to do clean processing and have like more care, we also have to pay more for the coffee. Because I think that is like one of the problems which has been with Robusta. It's like, yeah, it's rubbish, it's bad, we're not going to pay a lot, so why should a farmer care and do a clean processing? Because he won't get it much money anyway. So, and that's like a downward spiral. And I believe that, yeah, we can change that. Also, the CQI, the Coffee Quality Institute, has started to recognize this. They've started a specialty, like a Robusta Q grader program, where they're also training producers and people processing Robusta coffee to better their practices. And yeah, and especially now with the new processing methods which we have, like carbonic maceration and anaerobic fermentation, these are all things which can be applied to Robusta and which are really interesting things which we might see in the future have new flavor profiles and new coffees.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yes.
More questions?
So do you work directly with farm producer? So do you manage the buying process?
At the moment, we have, for like our different origins, we have different buying models. So as we're a small team with limited time, limited budget, we can't be traveling around the world just choosing coffees. And also the logistics are quite challenging. So like for some coffees, we work with specialty importers. So small importers who have close relationships with different farms or different cooperatives, also sometimes with exporters, which they the relationships have been for many years, and these importers also are able to like buy whole lots and not only like the cream of the crop, but also maybe like a lower grade, and they will be able to sell all the different grades to different roasters. A platform which we have bought coffee in the past and we maybe will buy again in the future, it's called Algrano. It's a Swiss startup who made like a social media platform for producers and roasters to meet. So a producer can put a certain amount of coffee or certain lots of coffee onto this platform. We as roasters can communicate with the producers. We can have samples, and then we buy the coffee via the platform. And Algrano, who manage all this, they organize the logistics. So say they open up the platform for coffees from Brazil, and the Brazilian farmers can put their coffee lots onto this platform, and at a certain date the container leaves the port, and yeah, you have to buy it until then. And Algrano organizes all the logistics actually from the farm to the port to our roastery. So actually we have different models for different origins usually.
Are there any emerging origins that you're looking at, or alternative origins to what we normally see in the lineup of specialty coffee roasters?
We've cupped a few coffees from Thailand lately, which were quite amazing. Laos,
yeah,
also.
and Myanmar
Yeah.
is also
So-
like emerging in the specialty sector. So actually, that whole region there is really, we'll be seeing more of those coffees, I think, in the next 10 years. And also like qualities going up.
Maybe question like something a bit easier now. I just wanted to ask. So you were, from what I read, one of the pioneers of specialty coffee roasteries in on the Swiss market. And I wanted to ask, how do you observe the market? How it develops at the moment? How much competition you have, or maybe none at all? How people react to the newer trends?
I think when we started roasting in 2010, but back then there was in Switzerland no specialty coffee community at all. So we also started pretty basic when we roasted, so I would not consider what we did back then, it wasn't specialty through and through. Like the coffee we bought, yes, the roasting rather not, but we evolved because we learned about specialty coffee in 2012 when we traveled the west coast of the States. And then we started roasting more in that direction and learned a lot. But like from the consumer side, I think in the last 5-6 years maybe, quite a lot has changed. We had a coffee shop in Zurich called Benzin and Coffein, and we were among the first that served like acidic espresso, like specialty coffee, filter coffees, and it was really taking people by the hand and showing them, look, this is filter coffee, this is not what you might have in mind from your childhood or your grandparents, but just taste it. So it was a lot of educating actually.
I mean, the Swiss coffee culture is super influenced by the Italians. In Switzerland, there were many people coming to work in Switzerland in the 60s, and they brought coffee culture with them. So they brought like the stovetop, the bialetti. They brought like darker roasts, and they also eventually also brought the espresso culture. And so if you like go on the street and ask people in Switzerland like what is a good coffee, they will tell you as soon as you go south of the Gotthard, which is the mountain pass going to the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, they said the coffee will become perfect. Or like at the Italian on the highway, you have these small like stops where you can go out and take a break, and they have these coffee bars, and they will tell you that's the best coffee, which probably isn't, but I find not. But
how did you manage to develop such a strong relationship with sports community? Because that's quite unusual and unique for the coffee scene.
It's kind of our background. We stumbled into coffee through sport. We've both done long distance triathlon, and through that we traveled to Hawaii, but it was 2007. And well, yeah, in Hawaii they have a really strong coffee culture. They have their own coffee, and it's the States, so they promote it really kind of in a cool way. And back then, 2007 in Switzerland, you got Starbucks was state of the art. That was the coolest thing we got. And then everything else was really grandma style, like these old coffee houses with old ladies drinking coffee. So it didn't really appeal to us. And actually, when we came back, we said we should make coffee cool. So that was our mission. We didn't know much about coffee. We just drank it because as an endurance athlete, you need a lot of energy, and caffeine gives you a lot of energy. So yeah, and then a few years later, we kind of started roasting.
yeah,
And it's still
it's still our passion to go outside, be active, and have a coffee with your friends before you do something, an adventure, or afterwards, or during the adventure. Yeah, so like being outside is important to us, and that's why also packaging is blue. It's like the blue skies. And so we have on the packaging the Matterhorn, which is maybe the most iconic mountain in Switzerland. Plus we have a sports person on our single origin coffees, and we have it like segmented a little bit. So all the African coffees have something with bikes. So the Kenyan has a BMX, the Burundi has a road cyclist, the Ethiopian has like a downhill mountain biker. Then we have like Central America, which is more like boards. So we have one cross-country skier, which we had. Then we have like a free skier for the Guatemalan. We have for the Peru, we have a downhill skateboarder. And for the Brazilian, we have a trail runner.
And we're still, like, from the branding, when you mentioned the Instagram account or our social media, we're still very much involved in the whole sports scene. So we sponsor some mountain biking teams, like they're all rather young people. It's quite amazing. Like now we just have a new members coming to one of the teams, and they're around 17, 18, but they're so much into coffee. We've just had them, the whole team, at our roastery, and it was really amazing. They all, when they heard, they like go up one, how do you say?
Yeah, they like advanced to the kind of like the pro team.
Better team, so they know, they will be our sponsor.
Sure.
We teach them the AeroPress, which is very important. And they found out they can take it to training camps and to races. So now they start telling their peers, hey, have you ever had this and stuff? So it's really fun to see how the coffee love spreads among these people. And these are all people that a few years back they drank, like they all go to Italy for training or to Spain, so they drink really dark roasted coffee. But now you see them, the younger ones, they try all our coffees and they really like a Kenyan. When we give it when we have older sports people coming to the roastery, older brand ambassadors, as we call them, they all go for Brazil. But the youngers, they really enjoy the coffees we also enjoy most.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you do blends at the moment, and if yes, why do you decide to do blends instead of only single origin, for example?
Well, one blend was a very special request from a wholesale account, and so we did it actually for them, and we then also like broadened we like put it up in our normal web shop, and I guess it's really the demand which decided for us to do blends, and like one of the blends also has 50% Robusta inside, so it's like also to kind of bridge the gap a bit to maybe people who are used to more of the traditional coffees and kind of get them on board to advance maybe to more exciting coffees.
And the last question, why vertical?
We like going up.